Hello students, welcome to CMIS online classes, and this video is for class 8 chapter number 14 chemical effects of electric current. So in this chapter we will talk about how chemical effect take place during electric current. So first of all, what do you mean by electric current? That means the flow of electricity is called an electric current. And as we all know, electricity is very much important for us. We light a bulb, we run various electric appliances, for our daily use, as for example fridge, washing machine or mixie grinder, even toasters are there. So in this chapter we will talk how chemical are affected during electric flow. So first of all, we will talk about electrolyte. So what do you mean by electrolyte? These are the terms that we have to discuss. A substance which gives ion when melted or dissolved in water is called an electrolyte. That means any substance, it can be solid, it can be liquid, when it is dissolved in water and if it gives ions means a negatively charged ion or positively charged ion. So when it gives ion, then it is an electrolyte. As for example, we have solution of salt in water. That means sodium chloride solution, NaCl. And when salt is dissolved in water, they give ions. That's why salt is a good conductor of electricity. Similarly, we have a solution of acid in water. If you mix aqueous hydrochloric acid in water, this also gives ion. Then we have alkali in water. Solution of alkali in water, sodium hydroxide. So we have dissolved salt also, acid also and alkali also in water, and these substance gives ion. This substance release ion, which is very good conductor for electricity. Now let's move to non-electrolyte. A substance which does not give ion when melted or dissolved in water is called an non-electrolyte. That means opposite to electrolyte. In electrolyte, if any substance is dissolved in water, it releases ion. But in non-electrolyte, the ion doesn't releases. And they are called non-electrolytes. Example, sulfur. If we dissolve sulfur in water, no ion is released. Similarly, if we dissolve wood in water, no ion is released. Even naphthalene doesn't release ion. Sugar, they also don't release ions. So we have talked about electrolyte and non-electrolyte. So simply we can say the substance which dissolve in, substance which gives ion are electrolyte, and which doesn't give ion are called non-electrolyte. And in both cases we have to dissolve or melt it in water. So water acts as a medium. Then we talk about another part. A liquid is electrolyte if it contains charged particles. That means if ion is released. That means if it's from an ionic compounds. Similarly, if it doesn't contain charged particles, it doesn't have ionic compounds, they are called non-electrolyte. Second point is, its charged particles are free to move through it. That means it can move through the medium. that means water. Okay, that means negative charge ion and positive charge ion are free to move through the water bodies. Okay, so then what do you mean by free moving ion? As we talked in previous slide. Okay, so when the ionic bonds are broken, that means negative and positive, there will be free movement of positive and negative ions. That means free moving ions in the water compound. Okay, so this will happen if ionic compounds melts or dissolve in water, as we talked in electrolyte. Okay, so if it doesn't dissolve or melt, they don't perform ionic compounds. That means the movement of ions are not free. Then we have, when the electricity is flow to the electrode, positive ions are attracted to cathode and negative ions are attracted to anode. That means it has a opposite attraction. That means positive ions are attracted to cathode and negative ions are attracted to anode. So anode and cathodes are another terminology. Okay, so the flow of electrical charge carried by ions in electrolyte and electron in the connected wire. That means if the wire is not connected, the flow of electric charge doesn't move. That means it requires some connecting medium. So here the connecting medium is the wire. Okay, so the electrolyte which has freely moving ions is able to conduct electricity, as I discussed earlier. They conduct electricity, or they are good conductor of electricity. Okay, but only in the case when the ions are freely moving. If the ions are not freely moving, then those electrolytes are non-conductor of electricity. So this was all about movement of ions. Now what do you mean by anion and cation? So anion are negatively charged particles. Okay, so anion are negatively charged particles and they are attracted to anode. Okay, anion, anode, you have to remember this. Similarly, cations are positively charged particles and they are attracted to cathode. Okay, that means we have a definition of anion and we have a definition of cation here. Now let's talk about few examples of cation and anion. So examples of anion: nitrate ion, sodium nitrate. Okay, example. Then we have sulfate, SO4. That means all have negatively charged particles. Then chloride ion, iodine. Then we have bromide and carbonate. So nitrate, sulfate, chloride, iodide, bromide and carbonate are all anions and all have negatively charged particles, and these anions are attracted to anode. Similarly, for cation, the examples are ammonium, sodium, copper, aluminium, magnesium. So these all are positively charged particles and they are called cation and they are attracted to cathode. Okay, so we have a differentiation or overall view of anion and cations. Now we will move, what do you mean by conduction of electricity, or how electricity is conducted. So as we are talking about electricity, firstly we must know about few terminology. Okay, so conductor. What do you mean by conductor? Substance which allow electricity to pass through them are called conductors. That means which allow electricity to flow within the body, such as silver are conductors, gold they are conductors, acidic solution they are conductors, salt solution they are conductors. That means these are the conductors of electricity. Okay. Then we have insulators. What do you mean by insulators? So opposite of conductor is insulator. That means substance which do not allow electric current to pass through them are called insulators. That means they don't allow electricity to flow within the body, such as plastic, rubber, etc. So we have seen an electrician when they are on work, as for example when they are making electricity, or if electric current is cut off, when they go, they either use rubber gloves. Okay, they use rubber gloves to attach that wire. Why they are doing? Because rubber is an insulator and that does not allow electric current to pass through the body. Okay, then we will move what do you mean by good conductor and bad conductors. Okay, substance which allow electric current to pass through them easily are called good conductors, such as silver, gold, aluminum, even iron also. Okay, and some substance allow electric current to pass through them but in very little amount. That means they allow electric current to pass but not in a great amount. Therefore such substances are called bad conductors of electricity. Okay, they are not called insulator. Insulator are the substance which completely don't allow electric current to pass through the body, but those substance which allow current to pass easily are called good conductors, and those substance which allow electric current to pass in a very little amount are called bad conductors. So in fact most of these substances allow electric current to pass through them under certain conditions. So instead of using terms conductors and insulators, good conductors and bad conductors are used. That means for our easy study. Okay, so insulators we can omit insulators, but we have to know about that also. So good conductors and bad conductors. Then we will move to electric conductors. So electric conductors are material that allow electric current to flow through them. That means they allow the electricity to flow within the body. Examples we have salt water, sodium chloride solution. Then we have metals such as copper, aluminium, and we have non-metals also. Copper, aluminium are metals, and even iron also we can include here. Okay, and non-metals like graphite, it is a form of carbon. Okay, that means graphite is also an electric conductors. So we have a few figures here. Copper is here, then silver, aluminium, and graphite. Okay, so these all are electric conductors. Then what do you mean by electric insulators? A material that do not allow electric current to flow through them. Okay, opposite to conductors. Example we have plastic, wood, rubber, even glass. Okay, so these are the example of electric insulator. and they don't allow electricity to pass through them. So if anyone get a shock due to malfunction of a circuits, okay, what you will do? You won't pull him or her with your hand, because you also are good conductor, because in our body flow of blood, the movement of flow of blood occurs, so we also are good conductors. Okay, so we don't pull that person with our hand. We have to either use insulators, as for example hood or rubber gloves or some form of plastics, to remove that person from the shock. Okay, so they are called insulators. Then we will move towards electrical conductivity of solid. Okay, how electricity is moved through solids. So in this case we will talk about solid as a connectivity. So some solids are good conductor of electricity, as we discussed earlier also, that is copper, steel, iron, aluminum. These solids are good conductor of electricity, and whereas some solids are poor conductor of electricity. That means they are also called insulators. Example: wood, plastic, rubber, glass, etc. So we have an example here. A battery is there and is attached with hood, and other end of a battery is attached with a bulb. So due to this hood, the electric current is not flowing. It has stopped because it is a poor conductor of electricity. Okay, so in this case, if instead of hood, if you put a block of steel or copper, the bulb will glow. Okay, so these are the conductivity of solid. Now we will talk about liquid. That means electrical conductivity of liquid. So some liquids are good conductor of electricity and some are poor conductor of electricity. Those liquids which are good conductor of electricity are tap water, normal water, salt solution, hydrochloric acid solution, sodium hydroxide. Okay, so solution of acid, base and salts are conductor of electricity, as we discussed earlier. So if electricity is flown through this liquid, the flow of electricity will be present, and some liquids are poor conductor of electricity. Example: distilled water, the water that are used by the mechanics, sugar solution, kerosene, okay, spirits also, they don't conduct electricity. So here we can see the figure. Okay, so in our left hand side, okay, if the solution is of tap water, okay, salt solution or hydrochloric acid solution, then the electricity will flow through the cell and bulb will glow. Whereas if we put a distilled water instead of salt water or sugar solution, then the bulb will not glow. If we put a cell connecting the wire. Similarly, we have on the right hand side, lower right hand side, we have put a molten sodium chloride in a ball, and two electrodes, metal rods are placed here. Then the wire is connected to one bulb and another is through a battery or the cell, and in this case the electricity flow and the bulb starts glowing. So this was all about electricity conductivity in liquids. So for this session, in this session we talked about the basic of electricity. That means electrolyte, then conductors, insulators, good conductor of electricity, bad conductor of electricity, flow of electricity in solids, flow of electricity in liquids. And in our next class we will talk about we'll perform various chemical effects. So till then, goodbye.